What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Talking Reviews, episode 208. And on today's episode, we're talking about all pro sports. We got NFL free agency that opened up. We're going to talk about all the trades and the free agent signings. Plus, the World Baseball Classic is closing in on the end of the tournament. So we're going to talk about an update and what the bracket looks like as of right now. And we got F1 underway. So we're talking about the race that happened this past weekend. But first, let's head to the NHL. So start off this one in the NHL. Trade deadline came and went. We actually did an episode all about the trades. We had nearly 40 trades leading up to the deadline that week of. We had some stuff talked about last week in the middle of the week episode. And then everything else was discussed on Saturday's release, which I think was Saturday, maybe even Sunday. But that is on the channel now if you want to go see all my reaction to the trades, the big ones, the small ones, and everything in between. That is on that one. So we'll talk about all the other stuff. So we'll start off with Minnesota's Kirill Kaprizov becoming the all-time leader in goal scorer for the franchise of Minnesota. 220 goals. Obviously, that is going to get bigger and bigger as long as he stays in Minnesota. So congrats to Kirill with that. The LA Kings' Anze Kopitar hits 1,500 games played, all with LA. He's the 25th player in NHL history to hit this milestone. Being his last season, I would say it should be higher, but still 1,500 games is a long time, so congrats to Kopitar on getting that. Extensions, though. San Jose extends Kiefer Sherwood and Alex Nedeljkovic right before the deadline. Gets 5 years, 5.75 for Sherwood, and for Nedeljkovic, 2 years, $3 million AAV. I think I'm fine with both of them. I think the Sherwood AAV isn't bad at 5.7, but I don't think it's going to look great near the end of that. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'm not seeing a lot of success with Sherwood in San Jose. Yes, that will just have to be some time to tell when it comes to if it's a good contract or not. Anaheim announced that they extended Ryan Poehling to 4 years, $3.75 million AAV. I mentioned in that trade deadline episode that I think they got rid of Ryan Strome because of the signing of Poehling, which feels like a younger Ryan Strome, pretty much a good replacement there. So I really like Poehling, what he's been doing right now. He's got a lot of responsibilities as of recently with the Ducks. So really like this signing. Seattle extends their captain Jordan Eberle to 2 years, $5.5 million AAV. I don't think this is a bad contract for either team. I don't think Eberle's all that great, but 5.5 is not going to hurt the bank. He's the captain of the team, so I definitely think you got to keep him around. The Kings announced that they signed Matthew Joseph after his St. Louis contract was terminated, meaning he did sign in time so he can play in the playoffs if the Kings do make the playoffs and they choose to have Joseph in the lineup. He signs for 1 year, $900,000. And Pittsburgh's Evgeny Malkin was suspended 5 games last week for slashing Rasmus Dahlin in the head. Not a good slash there. I'm not too sure what was going on with that. Malkin has a couple more games left, so he'll probably be out the rest of the week. All right, let's head to the NFL. We had a lot to talk about coming from trades to free agent signings, so we're combining it all into one. So the Rams announced that they traded for Trent McDuffie from Kansas City for a 1st, 5th, and 6th in this year's draft and a 3rd round pick in next year's draft. And then they signed him to a 4-year, $124 million contract. The LA Rams have not had a 1st round draft pick, I think, outside of 1 year in the past 10 seasons, which is astonishing, but it's been working out. The team goes out and gets big names, McDuffie being the next big name for the Rams. So I think it's going to work out pretty well. They need some help on the back end and defensively. So I think this is going to help out big time for the Rams. I think they really like that. Buffalo acquires DJ Moore from Chicago, along with a 5th rounder in exchange for a 2nd round pick. I think for both sides, it's pretty satisfying. I think a little bit more satisfying for Buffalo because I think they need more options at the wide receiver position for Josh Allen. Buffalo, I think, could do something special, but yet again, they haven't been able to. So maybe a DJ Moore helps them get over the hump. For Chicago's sake, though, I think this is a pretty nice pick up, a 2nd rounder for him. I think it's a little tough seeing DJ Moore go, but I also think Chicago fans expected more from him when his time was here. Wasn't really able to be that spark that I think a lot of people expected from him. So I think both teams are satisfied here. DJ Moore gets into a spot where he could be a new number 2 or number 1 there. And Chicago gets rid of that contract and can move on to maybe a new guy. Maybe Rome Odunze gets more options as being a number 1 guy now. Now we got a bunch of signings plus a little bit of trades here and there. This happened all in the past 24 hours. So there's probably even more stuff that happened, but this is what we got in the past about 24 hours. The Rams signed Tyler Higbee to 2 years, $8 million. Chargers signed Khalil Mack, 1 year, $18 million. Buffalo re-signs Dawson Knox and Tyler Bass. Miami signs Malik Willis, 3 years, $67.5 million. New England signs Romeo Dobbs, 4 years, $70 million. The Jets trade for Geno Smith and Minka Fitzpatrick. And really don't get rid of anything, a 6th and a 7th. They signed Fitzpatrick to 3 years, $40 million. Baltimore re-signs Tyler Huntley and also get a trade from Las Vegas for 2 first-rounders in exchange for Max Crosby. Pittsburgh trades for Michael Pittman from Indianapolis for a late-round pick. They re-signed him to a 3 years, $59 million extension. Indianapolis re-signs Alec Pierce to 4 years, $14 million, a big contract there for Pierce. Tennessee signs Wan'Dale Robinson to 4 years, $78 million, and John Franklin Myers to 3 years, $63 million. Denver re-signs J.K. Dobbins to 2 years, $20 million. Kansas City signs Kenneth Walker II for 3 years, $45 million, and re-signs Travis Kelce to 1 year, $12 million. Philadelphia re-signs Jordan Davis to 3 years, $78 million. Washington signs Laramie Tunsil to 2 years, $60.2 million. Washington also signs Odaf Owe to 4 years, $100 million. Atlanta signs Tua Tagovailoa to a year and franchise tag Kyle Pitts. Carolina signs Jalen Phillips to 4 years, $120 million. New Orleans signs Travis Etienne, 4 years, $52 million. San Francisco re-signs Eddie Pinheiro to 4 years, $17 million, and signs Mike Evans to 3 years, $60 million. And lastly, Seattle re-signs Rashid Shaheed to 3 years, $51 million. So obviously that is not all the stuff that happened. I looked at every single signing and picked a handful of the big ones. Obviously, there was a lot of signings, a couple low-end ones, a couple middle-end ones, kind of picked out the big names and the big contracts. So talking quickly about some of these, Pittsburgh getting Michael Pittman, I think is going to be underrated. I think it's actually a really nice pickup, especially for nothing, getting him for 3 years, $59 million too. I think there's some good options there at wide receiver. We'll just have to see what the quarterback situation is for Pittsburgh, if it's going to work out. But they got some pretty nice options on the offensive side of the ball there. Kenneth Walker going to Kansas City, another big name moving. I think Kansas City is desperately looking for a running back the past couple years. I think Kenneth Walker could be their guy for the future. 3 years, $45 million is not bad at all. So I'm curious to see what Kansas City is able to do with Walker, because they haven't had a all-star running back in a long time. So I'm really anticipating he's going to be the guy for Kansas City. And the last one to talk about, San Francisco and getting Mike Evans for 3 years, $60 million. I don't think it's a bad signing. I think $60 million is okay for a guy like Mike Evans, who had a really tough year last year. But if he's going to get some options with San Francisco, free up some options for other guys around him, maybe like a Ricky Pearsall or something like that, I think this is going to be a huge signing for the Niners. I don't think they're going to like it in year 3, but as of right now, I don't think it's too bad. He's definitely going to get a lot of eyes from the defense to slow him down. So he's definitely going to be an asset to the offense of San Francisco. All right, let's head to the MLB. We'll start off with the only thing we're talking about, the World Baseball Classic. We'll start off with some of the injuries and guys leaving the tournament. So Jeremy Pena from the Dominican Republic fractured his finger on a routine ground ball. Unfortunately, he will be out for the tournament and reevaluated in 2 weeks. So we'll see question marks for him starting the season with Houston, but that's really tough news for Pena. And the U.S. pitcher Tarek Skubal will not be pitching again in the tournament. We did discuss about this, I think, 2 weeks ago now, about Skubal not pitching at all, or after that one start. And then after the game happened earlier in the week, Skubal announced that he was going to try and talk to the Tigers and management and see if this was the right decision and potentially go back. And not long after, they decided he is going to be shut down. He's going back to Florida. So he's not even with the team anymore. He's back at spring training facility doing all Detroit Tiger stuff. Which again, I do not know why you wanted this guy on the roster when he was not going to pitch more than 3-4 innings. So that's tough. But regardless, the U.S. looked pretty damn good. They got a lot of good names, especially on the pitching side right now. So I wouldn't worry too much, but Skubal did just waste a spot in my opinion. All right, let's head to the pool standings. We'll start off with Pool A. Puerto Rico is 3-0. Cuba at second, 2-1. Canada in third with 1-1. Colombia and Panama are fourth and fifth, both at 1-3. Puerto Rico did already advance into the next round, but seeding is still up for grabs, especially with Cuba and Canada potentially getting that second spot. Pool B, nobody has officially clinched. USA at 3-0, Italy at 2-1, Mexico at 2-1, Great Britain at 1-3, Brazil at 0-4. Actually, I think if US lose that game to Italy, not that I think, I know if USA loses to Italy plus run differential is really bad in that game, the U.S. could drop out of this. I highly doubt it's going to be really bad even if they do lose that game to Italy, because Mexico could jump them in the standings here, but I do not think that's going to be the case. So it's really going to come down to Italy and Mexico getting that second spot, but mathematically everybody is still available at the top there. Pool C, we got Japan at 4-0, Korea, Australia, and Chinese Taipei all tied at 2-2, but Korea in second because of run differential, Australia in third, Chinese Taipei in four, and Czechia unfortunately went 0-4. This is the only teams that have officially been done with pool play, so Japan and Korea both advance into the knockouts. And then for Pool P, we got Venezuela at 3-0, Dominican Republic at 3-0. Both teams did clinch, meaning the rest are eliminated. Israel at 1-2, Netherlands at 1-2, and Nicaragua at 0-4. The only thing that is unclear is going to be seeding between Venezuela and Dominican Republic. They have to play against each other. The next, I think, tomorrow is when these two play. So it's still up for grabs on who gets the top seed, which matters because the winner of Group D, which is between Venezuela and Dominican Republic, will play Korea in the first round, where the loser and the runner-up of this group will have to go face Japan. Neither team really want to face Japan. I would love to see a Dominican Republic versus Japan first round, but that means Venezuela would have to win that game, and that's going to be a tough game for them to win. Still think it's a coin flip. Either team can get that one done. But as of right now, that is it for the bracket, though. We only have Korea and Japan in there for sure. Spots, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, both clinch, but seeding is not done yet. Group B, anything's up for grabs still, and Puerto Rico is the only one out of Group A right now to officially clinch. So a lot on the line the next couple days here, so keep an eye out on that. But playoffs do start this weekend, so make sure you guys watch that if you guys are interested in this tournament. All right, let's head to the world of racing. We'll start off with NASCAR. Ryan Blaney ruins Tyler Reddick's trying to go for 4 straight wins to make some more history. He wins at Phoenix, holding out Christopher Bell, who's honestly on a roll at that track. He owns that track. Ryan Blaney just enough to get it done, though. He gets the win. Now here's the updated standings. Tyler Reddick, again, still at the top right there. Blaney in 2, Wallace at 3, Elliott at 4, Van Gigsburg at 5, Bell at 6, Logano at 7, McDowell at 8, Buescher at 9, Larson at 10, Byron at 11, Hamlin at 12, Allmendinger at 13, Hocevar at 14, Gibbs at 15, Keselowski at 16, and that would be the playoffs if they started today. But at 17, we got Suarez, 18 we got Priest, 19 we got Smith, and at 20 we got Busch. Heading over to Formula One, they were at the Australian Grand Prix this weekend. George Russell and Mercedes looked great. Russell getting the first win of the season. I think his 5th overall win in Formula One. Antonelli getting right behind him, meaning a 1-2 finish for Mercedes. The first time since 2019 that Mercedes had a 1-2 finish, and the first time without Lewis Hamilton since the 90s. So an unreal performance. Good job by breaking that streak for Mercedes. The new 2 guys running up the Mercedes cars. Hopefully potentially do something special this year, because I hear a lot of people are picking Mercedes as the constructor champions, and potentially George Russell being the number 1 guy this season for the championship. So a lot on the line there. But let's head into the standings now after one race. Russell at first, Antonelli at 2, Leclerc at 3, Hamilton at 4. Norris at 5, Verstappen at 6, Behrman at 7, Lindbaum at 8, Bordarella at 9, Gasly at 10, Ocon at 11, Albon at 12, Lawson at 13, Colapinto at 14, Seitz at 15, Perez at 16, Hadjar at 17, Piastri at 18, Hulkenberg at 19, Alonso at 20, Bottas at 21, and Stroll at 22. And with that, we also have the constructor team standings. Mercedes at 1, Ferrari at 2, McLaren at 3, Red Bull at 4, Haas at 5, Racing Bulls at 6, Audi at 7, Alpine at 8, Williams at 9, Cadillac at 10, and Aston Martin at 11. All right, let's head to the games of the weekend. We'll start off with the NHL. Hurricanes versus Lightning Saturday at 4 p.m. World Baseball Classic, the quarterfinals is on Saturday. One of the semifinals is on Sunday. Obviously, teams don't have finalized, so check out that. NASCAR, we got Las Vegas Speedway this week. It's Sunday, 1 p.m. on FS1. Formula One, we got the Heineken Chinese Grand Prix, Sunday at 12 a.m. English Premier League, we got Manchester United versus Aston Villa, Sunday at 7 a.m. on the USA Network. Bundesliga, we got Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich at Saturday, 7:30 a.m. ESPN+. La Liga, we got Betis versus Celta Vigo, Sunday at 10:30 a.m. ESPN Deportes and ESPN+. Serie A, we got Como versus Roma, Sunday at 10 a.m. Paramount+. Ligue 1, we got Rennes and Lille. That's Sunday at 12:45 p.m. And MLS, we got Dallas versus San Diego, Saturday at 5:30 p.m. All right, guys, that will do for this episode. Thank you guys for listening and watching. 208 episodes in the books. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys check out the last episode, which is all about NHL free agency, or NHL trade deadline, excuse me. We talked a lot about that, my reactions towards that. We got another episode airing out later this week, potentially same day, depending on how the editing will go, all about the college sports. It's not going to be too lengthy, but it will be just a quick update on some college teams going around for that, especially with March Madness right around the corner. So make sure you guys check out that. But have an awesome rest of your week, and we'll see you guys later.